Hello everybody, this is AG here, and welcome to the Watkins Glen International, as we are here for the Lake Effect Ice Cream Super Weekend at Watkins Glen. Yes, I know it's a Tuesday, but we got an event every single day here at Watkins Glen leading up to the Lake Effect Ice Cream 400K on Saturday. In the Wall Cup Series, it's going to be a big race there with only 3 races left to go in the Cup Series. Well, hey, it's only 3 races left to go here in the Haas IndyCar Series. We are here for BodyArmor Dual at the Glen, race number 1. We have 1 race here today. We'll be back here again on Friday for the 2nd race, and then the finale at Pocono next week at the Pocono Raceway for the Haas World Championship 200K, August 26th. I'm joined alongside Matt Tuck for the call up today's race here from Watkins Glen. And Aaron Abel and Luna Luna are tied in the point standings. They both start midway through the field here today. Which one do you think is going to come out the points leader with 2 races left to go in the season?
Well, it's going to be interesting. They both start midfield. They both start right there around each other. And as this points battle heats up with just a couple rounds left on this championship, it's going to be interesting to see which one of them can come out on top here today. And I think it just comes down to keeping your car clean, keeping yourself out of the turn 11 wall, coming onto the front stretch, and we'll just see how the cards unfold for both of them. But it's going to be a very challenging race for them here today.
No doubt about it. And they have to do it twice this week as well. And both races, of course, full point events. So it's going to be interesting to see what they can do after today and then going into Friday as well. Of course, they are tied up top the point standings, both with 315 total points on the year. Aaron Abel does hold the tiebreaker with the best average finishing position, with only 45 points behind him is Chris Reynolds there in the number 75. Jay Knapp is 51 points behind, and our outside pulse hitter John Andrews, almost said John Stewart, John Andrews, 54 points behind coming into tonight's event. And all 3 of those drivers start ahead of Luna Luna and Aaron Abel here tonight as well. So we could easily be going into Watkins Glen. These guys 20, 30 points behind. And if another race like that occurs, we could be going into Pocono with the same type of championship battle we got going on in the Wall Cup Series. Let's go ahead and get these guys to roll off here from the Watkins Glen International. And if you saw qualifying yesterday, Bradley Bradshaw won the pole in the 34, just barely edging out John Andrews at the end of the Fast 6 shootout. Row number 2, we'll see John Stewart in the 25 alongside Justin Zeidel there in the 23. We got Noah Clifton and Brad Stover, DM Motorsports teammates there in row number 3. Ace Garcia, and there's Chris Reynolds, definitely a pivotal driver in this championship battle, only 45 behind. He's starting in the 8th position. Thomas Troxel and the 07 of Landon Smith Jr., and then there's Luna Luna starting in the 12th position there for Dog Pound Incorporated and Shane Lake's team. And starting 16th there, Aaron Abel in the 97. Also want to watch out for Jay Knapp starting 11th. Aaron Abel's teammate still very much in this championship battle, only 51 points behind. These guys could easily work their way from the mid-pack to the front in this 15-lap race, especially considering we have 1 cycle of pit stops right around lap 10 or so. We'll see these guys come down the pit lane, and we'll see it again, of course, same cycle on Friday as well. Well, Matt, a very interesting starting grid up front. We have some guys who have won races this season, who have contended for wins this season. The top 2 guys in the front row have yet to go to victory lane this season. Who do you think is going to get the win here in the first race of the duel at the Glen?
Well, I could stick with the trend and continue to try and pick my team cars for the same team that I race for, but I'm going to break the trend here today, and I think Bradley Bradshaw is going to get that first win here this weekend here at Watkins Glen, and he's going to convert his front row starting spot to a victory here today.
We're going to have to see if that will be the case for the American Motorsports driver. I think all these guys behind him are going to be very hungry for this win. And the high speeds here at Watkins Glen absolutely going to create a fantastic race, as it always does. There's a reason why we have 2 races here every season instead of just 1, as it is the best road course in the game. We skip the chicane and go through the boot, and watch out for the exit of turn 11, as Matt said. That is a very, very treacherous part on the racetrack, and especially in the stock cars. Watch out for some attrition there off the exit of the corner. Here we go. Pace car's going to pull down. It's Bradley Bradshaw on the 21 at John Andrews. And it's the first race of the duel at the Glen. Only 3 races remain in the title race. Let's see who gets it done as we're in the Finger Lakes of New York in the BodyArmor Dual at the Glen. Already, look at that outside lane. Get the jump that it did. John Andrews making turn 1 work, but Bradshaw did not lose too much ground. Still in second as they go through the carousel. They got to be really careful as these guys go very quick around each and every one of these corners here at Watkins Glen. Chris Reynolds there, under fire from Brad Stover, trying to get around John Stewart. I think we got through the first few corners cleanly, but John Andrews up front trying to close in on Luna Lona and Aaron Abel in this championship. Abel is going for it here on Caleb Rose, and he has gained a significant amount of positions as he tries to close in on Luna Lona.
Well, I think somebody got on the radio and told Aaron Abel was sitting there looking, hey, that number 75 of Chris Reynolds, if he moves up quickly in this race, he's going to possibly head into tomorrow's second race with a shot to get in really his way into the championship fight here. But Abel's flying around here as now we come on to turn 11. We've seen all sorts of things happen here, Shaking Lake. And as they spread out, a clean opening lap here, though. And the top 4 single file here. Let's just watch this 75 throughout the race. Gonna talk about that a bit. But
oh, look at this 34.
Oh, my.
Oh, through the S's. They're side by side for the race lead here at Watkins Glen. Bradley Bradshaw is going to try to make it work, and they're going to remain side by side down the backstretch. Now, you mentioned Chris Reynolds in terms of the championship battle. John Andrews is only 54 behind, and the way they currently run, Andrews would actually surpass Reynolds in the championship, but Bradshaw going to take the race lead away from the 21, and that 75's closing in. The road course master this season, 3 wins on the road courses this year, as Andrews not going to let Bradshaw have this one easy, and they're all on each other for the top few positions.
Yeah, just as we said, the single file, and they're not single file anymore. Chris Reynolds making it his way. He gets up to third. I think he's going to he might have a bit of a run down here into the hill. He goes down to the bottom. That's going to be a tough one to translate as he comes out of the boot, but Bradley Bradshaw, what a bold overtake, using the S's, going around the outside through the mid part of the S's and then powering it down the back straightaway into the carousel. That is a very fast number 34 machine today.
But John Andrews, another shot here, looking to the inside, possibly in the turn 1. Inside really doesn't have much grip in turn 1, but Andrews going to try to get around this 34 machine, but a good exit there for Bradshaw. Would like to mention Aaron Abel has moved up to the 9th position after starting 16th, and Luna Loma has not increased her position at all. She's still in the 12th position. So the way we currently run right now, Aaron Abel, the points leader, going into the second race at Watkins Glen on Friday. But this race still has a long ways left to go, and of course a cycle of pit stops. But the thing about these IndyCars, they do not pull away from each other here at Watkins Glen. It's just so much speed here on this racetrack that these guys just stay in a line essentially the whole way through. It's essentially a super speedway road course for these guys. And my goodness, it is entertaining to watch as John Andrews may have a shot here going into turn 7 once again for the race lead. They're side by side as they head into turn 8.
That is a big, powerful move from John Andrews. Now takes back the lead. And he's getting a little bit of separation. And this is definitely a very tricky track to maneuver. Lots of slipstreaming, lots of draft, because there's no really, when you take the bus stop out of this race course, for these Indy cars, there's no real slow corner on this racetrack. There's a lot of medium speed, there's a ton of high speed, but there's no slow corners on this racetrack to break them up. As we see, Chris Reynolds is looking to break up Bradley Bradshaw.
Oh, it looks like Christian Vargas has had an issue in the 73 machine. A tough break for him right there, but he's on the pit lane, and he is the only driver out of the race so far. Another thing to keep in mind, tire wear could also be coming into effect as this run goes along, which will make the cycle of pit stops very interesting. Of course, these guys definitely making these moves early on, but you might see them spread out just a little bit as this run goes on, as they do slow it down through the corners a little bit. John Stewart here in 4th, and then you got Brad Stover in 5th. Justin Zeidel down the 6th. Landon Smith Jr. solid run in 7th. Noah Clifton is 8th. Aaron Abel looking to take the points lead going into 2 races left to go in the season. He's 9th, and then Thomas Trossel rounds out the top 10. Everyone's still on each other. Bit of a gap, though, as Ace Garcia might be holding these guys up. None of these guys behind Aaron Abel are really championship contenders at this point, I would say. Logan Williams is clear of these guys. Justin Zeidel, Brad Stover as well. All the guys who are pretty much top 10 points, maybe with the exception of Tanner Parton, are ahead of this. Even Tanner Parton has gotten around. Ace Garcia's at 27 is definitely off the pace a little bit. Move back up through the field. You never know what could happen here at Watkins Glen. Always got to be watching every single lap. But John Enders starting to pull away a little bit here from Bradley Bradshaw. Now, when we were at Circuit of the Americas earlier in March, when we had that race there, that 21 of John Enders should have arguably gotten the race victory, but Caleb Rose took him out battling for the race lead, and it gave way to Cole Raymond going to victory lane. He's got to be careful not to get too close to these drivers once the cycle of pit stops begins. He does not want to be put in the same situation. And Andrew is a driver who has been on the channel. I mentioned this in qualifying yesterday. He's been on the channel since 2015. Has been racing essentially ever since we started. Looking to get it done for his first win of the season here in the Haas IndyCar Series and close in and have a shot at this title.
This is a big time to come alive here if you're John Andrews. Like you said, you got another race coming up here at Watkins Glen, so you get 1 good race, maybe. You get 2 for that 54-point gap. You know, even though there's not a lot of time left necessarily in the season, there's still, if the cards fall right, a lot of time. And, you know, Aaron Abel, Luna Lona out of position here to start this race. Aaron Abel's at least being able to move forward a bit here and is having a good day so far, but the way the IndyCar point structure works, it just takes one person has a bad day, that one other person has a good day, and it can be blown wide open here, especially as we saw last week at Michigan.
Absolutely.
2 weeks ago.
Of course, you get a lot more points the further up you finish in these IndyCar Series races compared to the Cup Series, so a lot more weight for each position once you're inside that top 5 compared to how it is back where Aaron Abel is currently running. Of course, even Abel's top 10 right now, so solid run running 8th now. That 97 is quick, and he may very well kind of mitigate the damage after this one, considering how well he is going. But you know, John Anders, Chris Reynolds, those are 2 guys who could very well find themselves in championship contention going in the Pocono next week. They can have a good run, finish this one out here today, and then do it all over again on Friday. But in the middle of all that is Bradley Bradshaw. A driver is 107 behind, you know, not mathematically out of the title race, but odds are not in his favor, looking for just his first career win. And kind of sandwiched in between these 2 veterans here of the Haas IndyCar Series and trying to hang on to this 21 machine. Did get a lap led right there, but John Anders has been the class of the field all day, except for lap number 2. Chris Reynolds, though, another driver, has had an excellent run this season. Like I said, road course master, 1 Riverside, 1 Willow Springs, and 1 Road America, going for his 4th win of the season. Pulling a little bit of a Chase Harris on us without us really realizing him. And who knows, if he gets this one, he could very well be the favorite to win this title. But Aaron Abel, how about this 97? Right on the gearbox of Clifton here. He is hanging on very well with these guys and starting to move up through the field very nicely as Zeidel slipping back in the 23.
Zeidel going the wrong. Oh my, that was a big wheel hop there in front of. Oh,
that was tight.
At turn 11, it's given some heart attacks throughout the years here. As Logan Williams looking to. Oh boy, Logan, don't do it. Oh, that's a big wheel hop. Got a little too aggressive there for Logan Williams there. I think Zeidel has a problem, or that car is just rapidly, like, the tires on that machine are just rapidly going away from him, because he just seems like every corner he's starting to lose more and more and more handling on that race car. But got a couple little packs going on here. Like I said, Aaron Abel separating himself a little bit from Luna Lona, not a ton. Luna Lona has actually been able to, got to give credit to Luna Lona as well, has been able to hold pace here as well in this race. But now this is the fun part of the race where pit stop should be coming up here soon, I believe.
Yeah, lap 10, lap 11 roughly, so still got a couple laps, but we're closing in on that cycle, and who knows? I mean, with these top 8 guys all on each other here, as Landon Smith Jr. was looking there on Brad Stover for the 5th position, unable to make it. How close these guys are. They could be close going all the way down to the finish of this race, and we could see ourselves a great battle for the win here. But John Andrews does appear to be the strongest of these guys. He has a slight gap there on Bradshaw, as Chris Reynolds looking all over the gearbox of Bradley Bradshaw here for that 2nd position. These guys staying in their respective positions right now. But Aaron Abel's a part of it. Aaron Abel could pull a little strategy and maybe work his way to the front, and a 2nd win here this season could really seal the deal for him and possibly winning this title in the Haas IndyCar Series. We'll have to see what all these drivers do on that cycle, and we're past halfway now in this race, so these guys can make it to the end on fuel. Of course, when we get to the Cup Series on Saturday, that'll be a 2-stopper, and this guy's going to have a slightly smaller fuel cell compared to these guys, and that race could definitely come down to fuel strategy and pit strategy as well, and with how tight of a championship battle it is over there. My goodness. Excited to see what goes on. And you're a part of that championship battle, Matt, so are you taking anything away from what you're seeing here today that you might want to try to apply on Saturday?
Drew Webb's not in this race, so I can't really, there's nothing really to put into the notebooks for this race that will carry into Saturday, other than hopefully we get a good qualifying and don't find a way to botch that, because that really is where it all comes down to on these road courses. You can move through the field, but if you're not starting in the top, we'll say top 10 here at Watkins Glen, there's no, you're not winning. Just the way it works out here at this track. But John Andrews, Bradley Bradshaw, Chris Reynolds just keeps lurking around here. And if I'm somebody gonna say, starting with Chris Reynolds, looking to, oh, here we go in the pits.
Oh,
somebody just came down. Oh,
that was a tight one there in turn 1. And we've seen drivers take each other out there, and Chris Reynolds gonna work the inside to clear Bradley Bradshaw. And you mentioned someone coming down the pit lane. That is Thomas Troxel in the 42. So we're within the window here. But I don't see them. That's a fuel-only stop out of Troxel. We'll have to see. Maybe these tires are not getting as worn as we anticipated, and Troxel may think I can go the whole way on the set of Firestones. We'll have to see. Reynolds, I'd watch out for the 75 and his pursuit of John Andrews. He may be able to get around this 21 rather quickly, as all these guys still right on each other here at Watkins Glen.
Well, if the tires are not going to be having heavy fall off out of this top 8 here, that guy in the blue and black car sitting in the back of the line, on that 97 team, you got to be looking over down pit road at Thomas Troxel and being like, that's something we could do here, and maybe jump all of the cars. At the very least, I would be thinking about coming down pit road now, get myself a clean lap in traffic, because this pack of cars is very tight, and somebody does an undercut here, and they could come out of this. Thought that Pepsi Max machine was going to go down pit road, but they stay out
here's
another
Jay
lap.
Knapp. Jay Knapp's going to do it here. That's Aaron Abel's teammate. And honestly, too, I can't imagine any of these guys would take tires then if Troxel didn't, because, you know, you only are going to have about 5 laps once you come down the pit lane. And these guys, they're kind of getting jammed up here behind John Stewart now. Brad Stover is a little desperate to find a way around this 25 machine. We'll try to look, as Aaron Abel did get around Noah Clifton right there. So that 97, once again, another position for him, up to 7th now. Boy, you know, it's hard. It's such a tough angle from what we're seeing. You know, those guys could slide up into each other if they're not careful. Stover will clear Stewart. He'll be up to the 4th position. Lime Rock winner, looking for his 2nd win of the season. And Chris Reynolds looking for his 4th win of the season. And how about this team? A lot like how it was when Chase Harris was driving for this organization in 2020. Chris Reynolds definitely taking these guys to school this year on the road courses. He and Trey Smith dominated Road America until Trey Smith took himself out. Chris Reynolds got to be careful not to take himself out here as he is pursuing this 21 of John Andrews here, coming to 5 laps to go, and I would imagine these guys are going to be coming down the cycle right here. Oh boy, Reynolds peeking on Andrews, But they're coming down the pit lane, so thankfully they step out of it, and here we go. We'll have to see where Jay Knapp and Thomas Troxel fall out in relation to the rest of these drivers here. Aaron Abel is staying out yet another lap, and maybe to your point, Matt, trying to get some clean air, then maybe get an advantage on these guys. Very fascinating strategy out of the 97 team, but here we go. John Andrews going to come down the pit lane right here. Oh, he's got Bradley Bradshaw right in front of him, and he's going to take tires here, so watch out for Troxel in that 42 machine. We don't know what Jay Knapp did. Oh, contact there between Reynolds and Ace Garcia, but it doesn't appear to have affected the 75, who's side by side with Andrews on the pit lane. He passed him on the exit. And here comes Troxel in the 42. Now, he doesn't have the fresh tires that this 21 and 75 do, but he's got the warm tires. He's been out there. He's got the full head of steam. We'll have to see if he can get to Reynolds. I don't know what was going on there with John Andrews.
Well, if I am Jay Knapp and NS Race,
they didn't really gain much.
If I'm Aaron Abel, as they go side by side into the carousel there, if I'm Aaron Abel and that NS Racing team, I'm calling for a fuel-only call right here now. Why wait? Only about 3 seconds to make up on John Andrews in the leader. Go down pit road, top the car off, and run hot laps and make John Andrews and Chris Reynolds and everybody chase me down to come win this race as he comes down pit road. This is a big moment in this race, and Troxel's going for the lead possibly.
Would provisionally be the lead, we assume. We'll see what this 97 does. We wish we had a split screen, and Troxel did make the pass there on Chris Reynolds. Let's see what Abel does. Oh, he's going tires. I don't know. I don't know about that. I mean, you have enough time to change two, and that's the thing. This is a NASCAR simulator, as we always say.
That was a long stop.
He's coming off here, and you see Troxel coming across the line now. I don't know. I don't think this 42 is going to fall behind. That 97, you know, and keep in mind, too, Aaron Abel was a little ways behind. He is going to file into the 4th position there as Troxel. What a strategy call. Now, here's the big thing. Still got 3.5 laps to go. Will he be able to hold off Reynolds and Andrews? Now, I'm wondering if Reynolds has a bit of damage that may be slowing him down because of that contact on the pit lane. Either way, the way things run right now, Aaron Abel would still remain the points leader going into the second race on Friday. That's a big deal for him right there, but both John Andrews and Chris Reynolds are going to gain on him the way they currently run, and Reynolds may get his 4th win of the year here, but Troxel's going to try for it here in Crown Ultra Racing.
Chris Reynolds, he's keeping really good pace down the straightaways. He's not necessarily losing time on Thomas Troxel, just not gaining any time. So I don't think the damage, I think I would assume he has to have some amount of damage there from that little pit road incident, but it doesn't look like he has the most amount of damage, and we'll just have to see. Thomas Troxel.
We just had a moment.
Uh-oh.
Noah Clifton, Ace Garcia, and Christian Master, and I think it happened off the exit of turn 9. And, oh no, Chris Reynolds! Oh, he lost the power in the 75, and this right here might take him out of championship contention. Wow, we had the blown tire in that Michigan race, the Wah Cup Series with Drew Webb. I've not seen that before. He got it back going in that 75, but that changes everything. Now John Andrews, who I can't imagine has any aerodynamic damage, is going to try to hunt down his teammate here. How about this? Roberto Crown Jr.'s got to be loving this. Both of their drivers 1-2 right now, with Troxel leading him and Andrews in second. And Andrews may very well get this one here. Aaron Abel now up to 3rd, and then Bradshaw and Landon Smith Jr. the top 5. But this race is between Troxel and Andrews, and that 21 is flying.
On a side note real quick here, Aaron Abel benefits the most from Chris Reynolds going out of that race, and I'm not entirely sure. The 00 was in the top 10 before the pit cycle, and is now not far
11th.
back, only in the 11th, so not too far bad, but that's going to be a swing in Aaron Abel's favor in a big way. But Crown Ultra Racing 1-2 here at Watkins Glen. This is a situation you always want to and don't want to be in as a car owner.
Absolutely. I mean, Troxel coming down the pit lane. And that strategy didn't work because they must not have taken enough fuel. That is weird. And now John Andrews has a 3.5 second lead, now actually a 4-second lead on Aaron Abel. And I don't really see him making any mistakes here in this one. Wow, that is a unique little call right there out of Troxel and their team. They're the only ones to have done that. I'm not sure if they're going to do that again, but I tell you, Troxel cannot catch a break here in the Haas IndyCar Series. It's been a tough season for him. Of course, missed out on the Indy 250 and had a shot at winning here. If he stayed out, I think he would have been fine. He had enough fuel, assuming he had enough fuel to make it to the end. I'm wondering if they caught an issue on that machine. And now John Andrews, who was the outside pole sitter, the only downside for Andrews, he's really only going to gain about 11 or 12 points. Nah, yeah, about 11 or 12 points on Aaron Abel. And he was 54 behind, so that would be 42 going into the second race. So if there was any driver, in terms of those 3 drivers who were right behind our points leaders for Aaron Abel to have in front of him, I think John Andrews may be the best one because, you know, he's still 54 points behind him. So what a great race out of Aaron Abel. Currently running second right now. And we'll have to see here how this last lap goes. White flag in the air as John Stewart almost lost it in the turn 10. He's going to get around Landon Smith Jr. there for 4th. White flag for John Andrews, only unless something drastic happens. And we saw Chris Reynolds have an issue there. So we're going to have to see if Andrews can make it. And as we have seen as of late here on the channel, it is not over until it's over. And that was absolutely the case in that Michigan Cup race. And you betcha that John Andrews and Roberto Crown Jr. are holding their breath right now because such a great opportunity for Andrews to have a shot at this title. He's going to have to do it again on Friday to have a shot going in the Pocono, but a win is not going to hurt this team, no doubt about it. We got a gaggle right here. Caleb Rose, our last winner. Currently in 6th, trying to hold off Landon Smith Jr. and Jay Knapp right there. There's Jay Knapp, 51 points behind coming in. He's having a solid run. John Andrews just has to be clean here in these last few corners, and he's got the win here in the first race of the duel at the Glen. What an interesting race it was. Really could have gone to anyone as we thought, but John Andrews had the best strategy, had the most fuel, and didn't have a mechanical issue. If Chris Reynolds didn't have his issue, I think we'd be singing a different song right now. But John Andrews in the 21. Gonna finally get that win this season. He's clear to the checkered flag. John Andrews wins at Watkins Glen. And then it's Aaron Abel, Bradley Bradshaw, John Stewart, and Caleb Rose gonna round out the top 5 here in the first duel at the Glen. And only 2 races remain now here in the Haas IndyCar Series. Luna Lona is going to lose a little bit of ground as she finishes 10th, but she's still going to be in championship contention. But Aaron Abel will take the points lead outright going into the second race on Friday. So John Andrews, the race winner here at Watkins Glen. You got Aaron Abel there finishing second, Bradley Bradshaw and John Stewart there. Bradshaw, he put up a good fight there at the end of that one. Couldn't quite get it done, but Abel, definitely the driver of the day, I would say. Started in the 16th position and moved himself all the way to second. And if that is not the sign of a possible champion, I don't know what is. But Aaron Abel coming on strong, but no one could have anything for John Andrews here today at Watkins Glen. 3.8 second lead. We did have that one wreck that we did review in the corner of the screen right there for everybody. A very fascinating race here at Watkins Glen with Aaron Abel finishing second. And it's going to be interesting in the championship because Abel's, he's going to gain a little bit on Luna Lona, but not too much. And, Lona, if she does the same thing on Friday, we'll be back in the same boat when we head in the Pocono for the finale race. It's going to be interesting to see who wins this title race. John Andrews gets it done. Matt, if you're still with me, who do you think is going to get this championship now? Aaron Abel had a great run here today. Do you think he's going to be able to pull it off, or will we see a crazier race on Friday here for the second duel? I think we may have lost Matt, so you can answer that question yourself. Oh, you still there?
Somehow.
Wow.
Have to switch computers in the middle of a race because Discord decides to take a dive. That was a race.
Mm-hmm. So Aaron Abel, though, taking this points lead away, do you think he's going to be able to hold on to this championship, or do you think we'll see another crazy one on Friday for the second race?
Well, it can definitely get crazier than it was today. I think this was by Watkins Glen standards, nothing insane happened. We saw a couple drivers take some big strategy swings at it. Thomas Troxel, most notably, didn't pan out for any of them. We didn't see anything too crazy today, so I would assume Friday, a little more intensity, a few more points on the line, penultimate race of the season. I think you're going to see some drivers really lay it out on the line here, especially if you're John Andrews, because that's going to be a last-ditch effort there for Andrews to be able to really have a shot in this championship. But a masterclass of a driver of the day worthy performance, though, from Aaron Abel to be able to go from the midfield to P2 and take a solid lead over Luna Lona with 2 races to go is championship-altering stuff from him today.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely going to be a little bit wider, but you know, we saw what happened to Chris Reynolds here today. That could happen to Aaron Abel on Friday. Could happen to John Ayers. Could happen to anybody. Could happen to Drew Webb in the Wall Cup Series again. You know, we just don't know what to expect, and that's the beauty of this game, and we're excited to see how it all goes down. Only 2 races remain, qualifying on Thursday for race 2, and then, of course, the race on Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time for the second race of the BodyArmor Dual at the Glen. It's going to be a good one. Thank you so much for watching. A huge congratulations to John Ayers and Roberto Crown Jr. finally getting a win as an owner. I don't think they've gotten a win as an owner yet. They finally got it, and a great ride for John Ayers here at Watkins Glen. We'll see you guys right back here tomorrow for the Wah Sprint Series. That'll be a fun race, and of course leading up to the Cup race on Saturday with the Lake Effect Ice Cream 400K. Congratulations to John Ayers for winning the first race of the BodyArmor Dual at the Glen. Here are the point standings for the Haas IndyCar Series after 14 races. And we'll see you guys on Friday for the next race here in the Haas IndyCar Series. On behalf of Matt Tuck, I will see you guys later.